Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Oh, a lot of you have sent us nice words about this Ann Sothern program, The Adventures of Maisie, that was syndicated by MGM. Yes, the motion picture people. This episode goes back to October 18th, 1951, and it's about the spicy novel.
Hiya, babe. Say, how about it? Ouch!
Does that answer your question, buddy?
The Adventures of Maisie, starring Ann Sothern. You all remember Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's famous Maisie pictures. In just a moment, you'll hear Maisie in radio, starring the same glamorous star you all went to see and loved on the screen, Ann Sothern. And now, here's Ann Sothern as Maisie.
Yep, I'm Maisie, like the man said. Maisie Revere of Brooklyn. I'm in show business, you know. You'll pardon me for always mentioning it, but since my last few jobs have been as stenographer, music teacher, receptionist, wrestling promoter, waitress, and undertaker's assistant, you might forget about the show business part. You see, my heart's in show business, but my stomach insists that I take a few jobs that pay money. But I keep on trying, and right now I'm going to see my, agent, Squirman Herman. You'd like Herman, that is, if you happen to like weasels. To give you an idea what a sweet guy he is, he got his mother a job as a queen of the powder room at a nightclub, and he charges her 10% commission. But as somebody once said, who wants an honest man for an agent? Well, Herman was glad to see me, he said. Hello, Herman.
Hello, Maisie. Gee, I'm glad to see you, doll. Sorry I can't give you any more time, but I'm glad you dropped in. Now, I'll call you as soon as I hear...
Now, wait a minute. You can't brush me off like this, Herman.
Look, Maisie, I'm very busy right now. I'm expecting an important call from Hollywood any minute.
Oh, quit kidding me, Herman. You couldn't accept a collect call from Chicago without going bankrupt. I want to know what you've been doing to get me a job. Come on, tell me a few nice, fat lies.
Maisie, do I ever lie to you?
Herman, you never even once told me the truth.
Well, okay, so I'm a skunk. So sue me. And just when I'm working on a sensational job for you.
The last sensational job you had for me was ringmaster in a flea circus.
This is nothing like that.
You mean this is nothing, period? Why don't you go out and get me a decent job at a decent salary for a change?
Look, Maisie, if you don't like the representation you're getting, you don't have to stay with me. Get another crook to handle you.
Oh, now relax, Herman. There's only one complaint I got. You never sell me anywhere.
You aren't easy to sell, Maisie. You got too much experience. What producers want is an inexperienced, fresh young girl who's been in the theater all her life. You don't fit into that caricature.
Maybe I'd better get another agent.
Yeah, why don't you? In the meantime, I'll let you know if I get anything for you, but don't call me. I'll call you.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that before, too. I'll take it.
Maisie!
Hello? Yes, this is his confidential secretary speaking. I see. Well, confidentially, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Goodbye.
Maisie, you can't do that. This is a bigger organization than you realize. I'm no coffee and cakes agent. I'm making important money. Who was that? Some important actor, I suppose?
It was the telephone company, and they're disconnecting your phone.
Is that you, Maisie?
Yeah, what's left of me.
Oh. Well, there's a girl here waiting in the sitting room to see you, Maisie.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Kennedy. I'll go right in.
She didn't say what she wanted, but she's a quiet, mousy little thing.
Oh, that must be Jenny Perkins. She's the shy type.
Your ever-loving boyfriend, Eddie, poked his head in and said, "Hi, babe," to her, and she blushed until her ears were the color of tangerine skins.
I'll see what she wants. Hello, Jenny.
Oh, hello, Maisie. I hope you'll forgive me for coming over and imposing on you, but I'm in a terribly embarrassing spot.
Well, what's the trouble? Have you fallen in love?
Oh, it isn't a man. I wish it were, but it isn't. But it's sort of about man.
Oh.
You see, I've written a novel, and Lyman and Brewster, the publishers, want to buy it.
What's embarrassing about that? Did you steal the story instead of doing it the old-fashioned way and thinking it up yourself?
Oh, no. It's just that the novel is sort of, well, it's kind of exciting in a way.
Ah.
I mean, there's one girl and lots of men, and...
Jenny, you mean it's spicy?
Mm-hmm.
Why, Jenny Perkins. Wow, look at those ears light up.
Oh, now, please, Maisie, I'm embarrassed enough about it as it is.
But how could you write a spicy book? Why, I've never even seen you out with a man.
I made it all up, Maisie. I used my imagination. Besides, I live right across from the park near the Brooklyn Navy Yard. I have a pair of binoculars, and believe me, I've seen plenty.
Well, I guess that's one way of getting story material. What's the name of the book?
Well, I call it the Lusty Lady.
Oh.
It's the name of a sailing ship, but the ship was named after my heroine, Louisiana Lawford.
Well, does she get married?
Sometimes she does. Her first husband is the second mate, and her second mate is the captain, and her third mate is the first mate. You understand?
Yeah, but who's on first?
Well, anyway, the publisher wanted me to come in and have lunch with him. His letter sounded sort of, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I said no. And then he wrote and said he wanted a picture of me to put on the back cover. He said I should be wearing either an evening gown or a bathing suit. Or...
Oh, I catch on. There'll no doubt be a sensational picture of your heroine on the front jacket of the book, and he wants something just as interesting on the back.
That's right, Maisie.
Yeah.
And well, look at me. I'm just not the type.
Well...
If I were the right type, I'd never have had time to write the book.
Oh, and, yeah.
I was wondering, well, do you know anybody who would let me use her picture to send in to the publisher?
Well, what kind of a girl do you want to be like?
Like you, Maisie.
Oh, well, swell. You can have a picture of mine to send in then.
Could I really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Maisie, how wonderful. Oh, thank you. And if anybody asks, just say you wrote the book under the name of Jenny Perkins.
Sure. And what's more, we'll find a picture that'll really knock that publisher right off his couch.
Maisie, where are you?
Oh, right here, Miss Kennedy.
Oh, Maisie, you know that girl came to see you a month or so ago?
Yeah.
She was here and left a couple of copies of a book called The Lusty Lady, and there's a picture of you on the back of it. And what a picture.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what happened. She wrote the book and I loaned her my picture. Oh, but keep it a secret. I'm supposed to be the author if anybody asks you.
You are, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Have you read any of this?
No. Is it good?
I don't know, but it's hot enough to be a bestseller. It burned right through the living room table.
Oh, stop it. Let's see my picture.
Here. That alone will keep this book on the outskirts of Boston.
Hey, it's pretty good.
If you'll read about yourself there, you'll see that it says the heroine, Louisiana Lawford, is a thinly disguised version of the author. And that's you.
Oh, my gosh. Let's look inside and see what my character is like.
I'll be frank, dear. You haven't got any character. You're just all woman and you have a hilarious life.
Well, let's see. Jim ran his rough hands through my hair, and I felt his salty lips on my ear. Lou, he whispered hoarsely. Lou, forget about Steve and Michael and Richard and think of me. I love you, and I'm going to... Wow.
Go on. Keep reading.
Oh, I don't know you well enough, Mrs. Kennedy. I'll try someplace else. Here. Jeffrey slipped his steel-muscled arm around my waist and drew me fiercely close to him.
Keep on going.
His lips were curved in a crooked smile, and his eyes flamed as he looked me over. I blushed under his frank appraisal. Gee, isn't it a little late for her to be blushing?
She blushes so much in the first chapter, they think she's an Indian.
Well, I'll flip through a little more. Oh, boy. Lord Elwood was a polished and meticulous gentleman until the huge iron-bound door of his castle shut behind us. And then I saw the savage beast of a man who hid behind the polite smile and the ruffled shirt. Doesn't this girl ever run into a quiet man?
Yes, and he leaves her a fortune when he dies on the next page.
Gosh, and to think that little mousy Jenny Perkins wrote this literary blowtorch.
Oh, don't be silly, Maisie. You wrote it. At least that's what everybody's going to think, and you might as well get used to being the author. Mrs. Kennedy's rooming house, her speaking. Oh, yes, just a minute. It's for you, Maisie.
Thanks. Hello? Oh, hello, Jenny. Yeah, I just saw the book, and all I have to say is, wow. Huh? Oh, well, gee, I don't know, Jenny. Yeah, I guess it'd be good publicity, but... Well, all right, Jenny, I'll be glad to visit the publisher. I'll make like I'm a society girl, too, huh? Okay. Yeah, I promise. Goodbye. I guess that publisher's been panting away in his little office ever since he saw my picture. She wants me to see him today.
That ought to be fun, but what was it she made you promise?
She made me promise I wouldn't say ain't.
Oh, Miss Perkins, I can't tell you how I've looked forward to meeting you.
Well, dear Mr. Brewster, now that you've met me, you don't have to look quite so far forward, do you?
Excuse me, I didn't realize I was leaning.
That's better.
My, you are lovely. And Jenny, I found your book an exciting experience. It brought out the brute in me, the savage primal man calling to his mate.
Why, Mr. Brewster.
It made the hair on my chest stick right through my shirt. Come here, Jenny.
But, Mr. Brewster, I just wrote about all that. I haven't had time to do any personal experimentation, and I don't want to start right now.
Oh, Jenny, I just want to crush you to me in a fierce embrace and... how did it go in the book?
Feel my fiery lips on yours.
Thank you. And feel your fiery lips on mine in a flaming kiss that sets my senses blazing. That's all I want. Come here, Jenny.
You don't want me. You want a soldering iron.
All right, Jenny. I'll behave. I believe I have myself under control now.
Well, your ears are still twitching a bit, but that's not a danger signal. Now then, what did you want to see me about?
I'm afraid we've just discussed that. Will you sit down on the couch?
Discuss it all over again?
Oh, what was it that Chaucer said about women? Oh, no, I'm wrong. That's what Sherman said about war. Well, there are other things. We want to do a lot of publicity on you. Pictures, interviews, stories of your life, literary teas, autographing parties at the big department store.
Oh, well, wait a minute. That's wonderful, but I haven't time for all that.
Well, what could be more important?
Well, dear fellow, I have other interests, you know. I go big game hunting. I play polo. Disguised as a man, of course. I manage a minor league baseball team.
Well, that's wonderful, but you can't do that right now. Your contract with us specifies that you agree to help us with publicity and promotion for the book. Now, you're going to be busy every day for weeks.
But how'll I earn a living? I mean...
You're going to make a fortune out of this book, Jenny.
Oh, this is terrible.
What's terrible?
Well, you won't understand. But for the first time in my life, I've got a chance to make a name for myself. And it isn't going to do me a bit of good.
October 18th, 1951, The Adventures of Maisie on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you can get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare. And that's MediShare. You get both. The typical family saves $500 a month switching to MediShare. And that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's because MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge PPO network, so Yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. If you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number you need. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
10 films made of Maisie Revere, her name, although her real name when the character was Mary Anastasia O'Connor. 10 films, and of course the radio show, a 1945 to 47 show that we have no copies of. But this 1950s series that came out of MGM Studios, it gives you a good flavor of what the character was like. Adventures of Maisie, October 18th, 1951.
And now, back to Maisie.
Oh, I made it. I never thought I'd get home.
Maisie, what happened to you? You look like you just got caught in a street sweeper.
I feel like it, too. I've been chased by men plenty of times before, but this is the first time it was an organized chase.
What did they want?
Well, let's not kid around, Mrs. Kennedy. They're all madly in love with the author of The Lusty Lady, and they think that's me.
Oh, there's somebody in the sitting room to see you. It's a man.
What else? Well, I might as well face it and see who it is.
Maisie.
Herman, what are you doing here? And whatever it is, I'll bet you could be arrested for it.
Maisie, doll, baby, you're breaking my heart. I'm your agent. Why don't you ever drop in to see me?
Well, the last time I did, you practically threw me out. You told me to get a new agent, too.
Oh. Look, Maisie, I got a lot of wonderful jobs lined up for you, and this time it's for real money.
That'll be a nice change from your IOUs and those soap coupons. But talk to my new agent about it.
You didn't get a new agent, did you?
You told me to.
Yeah, but you know better than to pay any attention to anything I say. Oh, Maisie, how could you do this after all the things I've done to you? For you. Whenever you were broke and needed a loan, you always called on me.
Yeah, but I never got a loan.
And look at all the jobs I've gotten you.
Name one in the last year.
I've watched over you and protected you and kept you from harm. I've been like a mother to you. Like a mother. And now look what you do to me.
I'm sorry. I was just kidding you, Mother.
Oh, you mean you didn't get another agent? You mean I did all that for nothing?
Yeah, but it was a stirring performance, Herman. Now, what about these jobs, and what do I do?
You don't have to do anything. Just come out on the stage, tell how you wrote The Lusty Lady, where you got your ideas, and hint around that some of the characters are well-known personalities. I can book into the Copa tomorrow.
The Copacabana?
No, the Copacetic. It's an intimate little club down in the village.
Oh, well, I know that little dive. It's a built-over basement in sort of a hobo heaven. What'll they pay me?
$1,000 a week.
Holy Pete, $1,000 a week?
Yep.
If you're willing to offer me that, the club must be paying you at least $3,000.
Oh.
And what's a little club like that paying me that kind of money for?
Well, they know they can pack the joint solid with people who want to see the author of The Lusty Lady. Maisie, you're the hottest thing in show business, and
And you're offering me a job in a little dive? How many shows a week would I have to do?
Oh, you just work from noon to 3 a.m. or so?
Good grief. How many shows, Herman?
I told them I positively would refuse to let you do more than 200 shows a week.
200?
Yep.
Herman, that would kill me dead.
Well, that's show business.
Well, nothing doing. I won't take it.
Okay. I can also book into another club at $2,500 a week. 3 shows a night.
Why didn't you tell me about that at first?
These other cheap chiselers wouldn't split with me. You start tomorrow, Maisie.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't do anything tomorrow.
Huh?
I'm autographing books at Macy's.
Who booked you into there?
The publishers. And day after tomorrow, I have to give a little talk over the radio.
What are you getting for making the guest shot?
Well, it's all free. It's to publicize the book.
But, Maisie, you can make a fortune if you stop giving yourself away like this. Never mind the book. I'll get you a job in Hollywood.
I don't want a job in Hollywood. I've had them, and you have to work too hard.
No, there are lots of easy jobs. I know one guy out there who has a beautiful corner office, and all he has to do is look out the window and warn the head of the studio of approaching glaciers.
Well, now, look, Herman. I'll take that club job for $2,500 a week, but let's do it fast. The way I'm feeling now, I won't last out the week. Now run along, I'm Bush.
Okay, I'll get that club deal ready to be finalized.
So long, Herman. It was nice of you to drop in. Don't do it again.
Goodbye, Maisie.
Oh, Maisie.
Oh, hello, Jenny.
I came in and heard you talking to that man, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Jenny, this thing is going all wrong. You ought to get all this publicity instead of me.
Oh, gee, Maisie. It certainly is just like you to say that. You're so unselfish.
Unselfish, nothing. I'm tired of being chased continually by men who've read the book. I think it's about time you realize what you've done to the men of this country.
I guess I sort of stirred them up, didn't I?
I opened my window last night and you could hear hundreds of them just in Brooklyn, baying at the moon.
Oh, but Maisie, I'm not the type of girl that men are interested in.
Jenny, men are interested in all types of girls as long as they're females. But I can see that you need a practical education about men.
Well, I think it's more my appearance. I'm just not the exciting type, that's all.
Well, you're not in that dress. It's about as form-fitting as a shower curtain. You're good-looking, all right, Jenny. It's just that a man would have to look hard to realize it. But don't you worry, we'll fix you up.
Oh, Maisie, will you really help me?
Sure. I'm going to make a pot full of money passing myself off as the talented Jenny Perkins for a week or so. And I want you to learn some of the tricks of the talented Maisie Revere. Who is it?
It's Herman. Are you decent?
Yeah, come in, Herman. I'm just ready to sneak out the stage door.
Great show, Maisie. Great show. You're really packing them in.
I know. But can't I be billed as Maisie Revere?
It's Jenny Perkins they're interested in. Who cares about Maisie Revere?
Well, I do.
Uh-oh, this could be a little trouble. October 18th, 1951, Ann Sothern, The Adventures of Maisie. The conclusion follows these messages on Classic Radio Theater. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Ann Sothern, The Adventures of Maisie, October 18th, 1951, the conclusion.
When the name of Jenny Perkins loses its draw, what's Maisie Revere going to do? Sell popcorn at Ebbets Field?
Well, you could do a lot worse. Just forget about Maisie Revere. She's a dead issue.
Well, not with me, she isn't. Okay, come on. I wonder if there'll be the same crowd at the stage door this night.
There'll be about 110 or 11 people.
How do you know?
I sold them tickets.
Hey,
Here she is, fellas.
Hey, Jenny, I read your book, and I love you. I tell you, I love you, Jenny. I can't live without you.
Get away from her.
I'll sleep for
Jenny,
you.
I'm the man for you.
I'm
good-looking, I'm intelligent, I'm rich, I'm willing to die early. Leave everything to you, honey.
No.
Oh, I love you, Jenny.
No, please, now take it easy, fellas. Let go of me. Hey, cut it out. I can only marry one man at a time. Stop, let go of my dress. Hey.
I love you, baby.
Oh, no. Wait a minute till I zip this dress up your back and we'll see what it looks like, Jenny.
Oh, well, Maisie, there doesn't seem to be very much of it.
Well, there's enough. There. Now, let's see.
Feels kind of drafty.
Oh, you'll get used to that. Jenny, you're a very good-looking dish.
Me?
You won't have any trouble attracting the men. Your problem's going to be fighting them off.
Oh. But tell me some more of the tricks, Maisie.
All right. Well, now, honey, there's nothing that brings a man running faster than a nice but wise smile.
Smile?
Give him the kind of smile you would if you were secretly engaged to him.
Oh, I think I begin to get the idea.
And when he comes over, you pretend to be very surprised and be sure he knows you're pretending. That makes him think he can see right through you.
In this dress, a man almost could.
Oh! What was that? Oh, that's the regular evening rock. A guy who read your book throws it through the window with a mash note attached to it.
Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Jenny Perkins! I love you! I love you! I love you!
Why, he's calling me.
Yeah, but he thinks I'm you. Why don't you go to the window and look out?
Okay.
Hey! Cut that out! I love you, too!
Jenny, I think you're making progress. Tomorrow we're going to introduce you as the real Jenny Perkins, and Maisie Revere's going back to being herself again. And so that's how it happened, ladies and gentlemen. And now here she is, the real author of The Lusty Lady and the real Jenny Perkins.
Thank you. I suppose lots of you wonder where I got the characters for my book. Well, if you lived as near the Brooklyn Navy Yard as I do, you Wouldn't wonder. Very long.
Maisie, who's that doll out there in that strapless, backless, and frontless dress?
My hair.
Well, that's the real Jenny Perkins. You didn't believe I really wrote that book, did you?
Look, doll, you've had all the experiences, and if Gypsy Rose Lee can write books, you can too. But what did you give the whole thing away for?
Oh, I just had to, Herman. I didn't mind too much being mobbed and signing everybody's autographs, but it wasn't on account of anything I did. It was only because they thought I was her. I love applause when it's for Maisie, but not when it's for a book. Come on, let's go.
Book, schnook, what's the difference as long as you're making money? Uh-oh. Here comes the manager.
Well, I got my suitcase by the door, and I've been in these situations before.
Herman, what's with that other girl out there? Is that the second shift? And which one is on the level?
Oh, well, she's really the author. I was just filling in for her.
Ah, okay, Herman, you owe me some money. I paid $5,000 for this, and you didn't deliver the real Jenny Perkins until now.
$5,000? I thought it was $2,500.
I took a little larger commission than usual.
Ah.
Maisie, let me have the money I gave you.
Goodbye, Herman. It's been swell.
Maisie, you can't do this to me. Come back here.
Nothing doing. After what's happened to me, I could write a book. And you know what? Someday I think I
will. And now, once again, here's Maisie.
Well, paying out that money almost broke Squirmin' Herman's heart. It's a real big heart, too. It's about the size and temperature of a frozen strawberry. Little Jenny Perkins seems to be doing all right with the New York men, too. But most of the men she's with in her publicity pictures seem to be pop-eyed. But maybe that's because of her décolletage. And she's doing all right in Brooklyn, too. Mrs. Kennedy wrote me that she's been going out with my steady boyfriend. Well, I guess that's life. As for me, I've heard of a wonderful job in South Africa, so I'm going down and thumb a ride on a boat. Come on, Pete. That sounds like our transportation. Let's go.
You have just heard The Adventures of Maisie, starring Ann Sothern. Maisie was written by John L. Green. Original music was composed and conducted by Harry Zimmerman. Supporting cast included Lorene Tuttle, Frank Nelson, Jerry Hausner, Arthur Q. Bryan, Virginia Gregg, and Peter Leeds. John Easton speaking.
October 18th, 1951, The Adventures of Maisie on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We move now from Maisie to Claudia. This episode of the soap opera originally broadcast October 18th, 1948.
And now, Claudia.
Goodbye, David. I've got to pick up a few things and park the car. Meet you in front of the drugstore.
Right, I'll be there.
It's some job parking this car. Eastbrook gets so crowded during shopping hours.
Claudia, watch where you're driving.
I'm watching.
You're not. You're looking off to the side.
I'm looking for a place to park the car. Oh, there's someone pulling out. No, she's pulling in. Honestly, the way some women park, you don't know which direction they're going in.
Pot calling the kettle black.
Oh, there's a space.
And a fire hydrant.
I think you really enjoy watching me struggle against the odds of traffic.
There's a parking lot down on the other side of the hardware store on Main Street.
Pay 25 cents? You think I'm crazy?
No, mercenary.
25 cents to park in a small town. I'll find a space if I have
Mrs. Norton, you're bottling up traffic crawling along like this.
It's too bad, Mrs. Brown. I'm looking for a place to park my car. Honestly, so many cars shouldn't be allowed.
There aren't half enough to go around as it is. Where are you going to now?
That woman! Why didn't she put her hand out?
She did.
I didn't see it.
You weren't looking. Claudia, for heaven's sakes, park the car and let's get out.
I'm doing my best, Mama. Turn around now.
U-turns are not allowed.
I'm not going to turn around in the middle of the street. I'm going to turn around in that second-hand car lot. I just drive in, drive out, be going in the opposite direction. Say, look at all those cars on sale. What prices?
I get them, too.
Look at that old station wagon, $1,700. Looks like an antique.
That's for the proof of it.
Of what?
The cars are at a premium these days.
Ah, hello there, lady.
Oh, dear.
Hello.
You can pull up here.
Oh, But I don't want to.
Oh, that's all right. You won't clutter up the driveway.
I warned you to stay out on the street where you belong.
Nice little job, this here car.
We like it.
Runs well?
Beautifully, yes.
Kept up pretty good, too.
It just came out of the garage completely overhauled.
Claudia.
I'm telling him about the car. He's interested.
Yep. Nice looking job. Give you $10.50 for it.
$10.50 what?
1,050 nice new brand green bills.
For a car that's been in an accident, Mama, imagine.
Well, you wouldn't get a better price for it any place.
I haven't been anyplace else.
Smart little lady. You're right when you come to Smiling Gus with the fairest deal. We buy at the highest prices and sell at the lowest prices.
But that's not a very good way to do business.
Now, you're right, lady. But that's Smiling Gus for you. Always thinking of the other fella. So I offer, right this minute, in cash, $10.50.
Oh, but I wouldn't you see, I don't really want to sell this car at all.
Aha! So that's the way you deal your cards, eh? Hey, lady, all right? I'll raise my ante.
Your auntie? What's she got to do with my car?
It's just an expression, lady.
Oh,
Poker. Look,
see.
I'll raise my ante and offer you $11.75.
$1,175?
And no cents.
That's a lot of money.
You said a mouthful, lady. It's a nice heaping sum of money.
Come along, Claudia. You know you're just talking. You're not the least bit interested in selling this car.
Is this how you people do business? Buy a car from one person, sell it to another?
What's so extraordinary about that?
Well, nothing, except I just never sold a car I own.
This is the first car you ever owned.
That's true.
Well, what do you say, lady? I got an awful lot of business to transact today. What do you say? $11.75 smackaroos. Cash on the spot.
No, I'm sorry. My husband, he wouldn't like it.
$12.50.
No, it's not the money he wouldn't like, but,
Making a business deal with a female is a losing proposition. You're willing to spend thousands of dollars for a mink coat. But when it comes to spending 25 cents, you start feeling bad. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna offer you $12.50. Not a cent, not a penny, not a copper coin more.
Claudia, for heaven's sakes, David will be looking for us.
he'll find it.
Well, what do you say?
Well, I say, Mr. Gus, that I'm not really interested in $1,250. Strange as it may seem.
You sure drive a hard bargain, lady. But, seeing I've got a particular market for this type vehicle, I'm willing to play a game. Offer you $13.60.
Oh, no, you see, I didn't really drive in here to...
That's what they all say. That's what they all say. $1,400.
I'm awfully sorry if you seem to have gotten the impression that I'm anxious to sell. I only drove in here to drive in here. And then when you started talking, I got interested, but honestly,
$1,400 ain't enough, all right. $1,500. Not a penny more.
Claudia, I'm dizzy.
$1,500? That's an awful lot of money all at once.
You're telling me. It ain't often that Smiling Gus gets himself hooked in on a deal of this kind. But $1,500 cash on the spot.
$1,500 cash on the spot. We could buy a whole flock of cows, Mama.
I got an idea that you want to think it over. Am I right?
Well,
I know that most of you ladies is very leery about making a business arrangement without the approval of your husbands. Okay? Tell you what I'm gonna do. You just leave this here car here, park it right here.
You mean I can park it right here?
Right. Just leave it right here and go about your business. Go buy your business. Go buy your groceries and your meat and your hardware. Go to the dime store. Call up your husband if you like. When your mind's made up, you just say to Smiling Gus, okay, it's a deal. My $1,500 cash on the spot, if you please, and the whole affair's closed. So park the car here meantime.
You mean I can park the car here? For nothing?
Sure, that's what I said, and Smiling Gus never goes back on his word.
Well, that's awfully sweet of you, Mr. Gus. Did you hear him, Mama?
I heard.
Well, come on.
And you're under no obligations, lady. No obligations whatsoever. But believe me, you'll have no better offer from here to California and back.
Oh, I'm not looking for a better offer, Mr. Gus. Really, I'm not.
Good.
We'll be back in a few minutes.
Take your time, and if I ain't here, ask for Mac. He takes over when I'm out to lunch.
We will.
Aren't you ashamed?
Ashamed? Why?
Leading that poor man on like that?
I didn't lead him on. He led himself on.
Claudia.
That sounds like David.
David, we're just going down to the grocery store. We'll be right back.
All right, I'll wait for you, darling.
By the second-hand car lot. I don't think we'll be more than about 5 minutes, darling.
All right, take your time. Say, get me some tobacco, will you?
Hey.
Isn't a thing in the world to hurry for.
You're looking for a car, friend?
What's that?
Right along here. We have the best models you can buy at the lowest prices. I'm a Scotchman, friend, and yet I believe that every one of these cars here is a real bargain. I'm practically giving them away.
You're giving them away, huh? Sure. Second-hand cars are just being given away these days. Like bingo.
You have the looks of a man who don't believe me.
Yeah.
Now, for instance, this here car being given away for a mere song.
A song, huh?
It hasn't been in the lot here for 10 minutes. Smiling Gus just bought it.
Which one and how much? Just for the fun of it?
This here black convertible with the red leather seats and the white wall tires.
That black convertible, huh?
Come on over here and have a good look.
You know, it's funny. I have a car just like it.
Oh, we bought it, Gus, he did, just now, off a little old lady and her mother.
What?
In perfect condition it is, just been overhauled at our expense. The little lady says it drives like a baby carriage. Oh, brand new like.
Did you say you bought this car?
Oh, aye, we don't steal them, mister. Now, I'll make you a fine offer. Cheap as a giveaway. $2,600.
$2,600. I'm dreaming.
It's that cheap. It seems like a dream, I know.
But look, wait just a minute. Now, I don't have to buy this car.
You don't have to be. You can't resist at $2,600.
It's fantastic.
Too much money? All right. To show you what kind of people we are, I'll give it to you for $2,400. And that's really given. As a Scotchman, I should know.
Well, just keep your kilt on a minute. You can't sell me this car.
Not for $2,400? Well, how about $2,200?
Not for any price. I'm trying to tell you that...
A tough one, are you? Yep. You know, I'd rather do business with the ladies any day. Much easier. Men always feel that they have to drive a sharper bargain. All right. $2,100. That's saving you $500.
Look, I'm trying to tell you that this is my car.
I'm glad you see it. For $2,100, it is yours, and it's a bargain, too.
But I don't have to pay you. I can prove that if you'll only let me talk. Now look.
$2,100 is still too much, all right?
Now, wait a minute.
Because it's the way Smiling Gus likes to do business.
Yes, I know.
You can have it for $2,000 flat. Not a cent more, not a penny less.
Oh, I give up. $2,000, eh? Well, that's pretty cheap under any other circumstances.
I know you admit it. Look, a radio, a heater.
Yes, I know all about its extras and accessories, thank you.
I just feel as if they were your own, don't you?
Yes, I do, remarkably so.
David, I'm back.
Well, it's a good thing.
Oh, I see you found the car.
Oh, you interested in buying it too, lady?
In buying it? David,
Oh, you know this gentleman?
Kind of, yes.
Claudia, before you say another word, what have you told these people about the car?
Ma'am, he's driven me down to $2,000.
Driven you down?
You offer me more, and it's yours. Oh, it's a bonny car, lassie.
He's offered you $2,000 for this car?
And he's saving $600 in it. I should sell it for no less than $2,600.
Darling, please tell me, what have you done?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
You can have it for $2,100, ma'am. You can save $500.
No, thank you very much. We've made enough money on this car as it is.
What?
I could sell it to Gus for $1,500. And David, you can buy it for $2,000, thereby saving, $600. $600 you save and $1,500 I make is, $2,100 profit. And we still have the car. And it didn't cost me 1 penny to park.
What's she talking about, laddie?
It's a good day's work, darling, so let's go home.
Changing times have brought new ways of entertaining. Women don't attempt to cook and bake and fuss about as they used to. They put plenty of Coke on ice when they expect guests over for the evening, and often let it go at that. For delicious ice-cold Coca-Cola appeals to old and young alike. And the pause that refreshes with ice-cold Coca-Cola is always welcome.
Mr.
King, tell me, does your wife get herself into such situations merely trying to park the car?
Well, not exactly this one that Claudia's got herself into. But yes, she manages to get herself into scrapes, too.
Why don't they just pay 25 cents and get it over with?
Ask me one I can answer, Mrs. Brown.
It's the strangest thing about money. Claudia just hates to part with it.
When it's for parking the car. But let her loose in a cut-rate drugstore, she's not nearly so inhibited.
When is that supposed to happen?
Why, I think that'll be happening tomorrow.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Don't look so glum, Mrs. Brown. All's well that ends well.
So they say, but I'm not quite sure. See you then, Mr. King.
Until tomorrow, Mrs. Brown. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir.
Au revoir, Mr. King. October 18th, 1948. Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We thank you for making us a part of your day. Please thank this station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Now, if you miss a day, or if for some reason this favorite radio station of yours has sports on, you don't have to miss a single show. All of our shows are available on demand at my webpage, classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows on demand. You can learn more about classic radio collecting. You can also download our shows. We got a list of sites that offer our shows as podcasts, so you can find them there. You can also contact me directly. You can find our social media links. And if you enjoy what we do, you can buy me a coffee. That buy me a coffee money doesn't go to buy me coffee. It goes to help me acquire additional classic radio collections from collectors. So we would appreciate that as well. Whatever you do, thank you for visiting classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.